Hello, and welcome to Stop Now, where we stop, listen, and share. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2022. We are glad that you have made it through with us, and we're going to have another great year here at Stop Now. And to kick things off, we are going to speak to one of our favorite guests and one of your favorite guests of last year. We're going to have a great conversation with our special guest this week. But before that, I have to talk to the man in the mask. JK, how are you, my friend? Happy New Year. Good to be back, sir.
Hi, Nate. Welcome 2022. Is that what you're saying? And
yes.
We have never been separated. And also, I've been married twice to Harold. So my husband is also there. I forgot to wear my mask. So I'm trying to put this month being a National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And Eyes Open International is the first thing our partner comes to my mind. And what are we going to do? Because we have taken a stand against human trafficking. We are asking others, like, are you? And what are we going to do? And who will be the better person to talk about it? Of course, Harold. Harold, it's your platform. Go ahead. Welcome again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, JK. Thank you, Nate, and wish you and all my friends on Stop Now a very happy, prosperous, and peaceful New Year 2022. So thank you very much. I'm really blessed to be on the show. I really admire what JK and his team are doing on Stop, Listen, and Share, basically to stop and combat human trafficking, not only in the United States of America, but globally. So I really salute your mission, vision, and passion, JK and Nate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Harold. Always good to catch up with you. And I think we can start there. As JK mentioned, it's a new year, and so there's a lot to talk about. We are in National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. But before we get into some of those topics, Harold, can you catch the audience up? Like what's been going on with you since the last time we had a chance to speak with you here?
Oh, Nate, yeah, I think time just flew. I think we had a show, I think before I flew to India. So in October, I went to India and I just got back on the Christmas Eve to the United States of America. But just to share with the audience is that when I was in India for more than 2 months, I did I did about 53 presentations in India. And I went for my biopic Bollywood blockbuster silver screen movie, which is coming up. So I think the delegates, the producers, directors have done a fabulous job on the script. And to be honest, Nate and JK, I'm also learning this new subject because I think any movie, whenever it is being produced or directed, I think 80% of the movie is based on the script. So the script has to be ready before they approach any leading actor, And I was told that each movie is like of 120 pages. And each page is 1 minute in the movie, which I didn't know. I thought maybe they had to write like 400 or 500 pages, but I was wrong. So it's 120 pages minimum. And one page could be in 4 or 5 minutes in the movie, depending on the emotions, the feelings, the dialogue, and the scene, But all I can say is that since I have signed the life right agreement, and so I'm not in a position to share any information. But what I was informed by the producers and directors is that I think by February end, the script will be ready and everything should be in place. And I think during the Cannes Film Festival, they're going to announce.
Oh, wow. So yes. For those that may not know, they are making a movie about Harold's life. So we were glad to be able to talk to Harold before he becomes a big Hollywood star. But how has that experience been like? Just kind of thinking about your life and watching the producers and the writers make this movie about you. Like, what kind of experience has that been, Harold?
Honestly, when all these leading producers and directors approached me a couple of years back when the Humans of Bombay article went viral in India, I never believed, I never dreamt that one day there'll be a biopic on my life story. So it was something like a dream come true, which actually I never dreamt also. But it was very intimidating. I just didn't know how to act, react, respond, review, reply to the delegates. And I just didn't know anything about this film industry, honestly, Nate and JK. And I didn't know that you got to sign a life right agreement. That's something I learned new. Number two, I didn't know that you need to have an entertainment attorney. I never heard that word, like an entertainment attorney. So, but as things progressed, I went with the flow. I met a lot of leading all actors, heroines in Bombay. So it was a very learning curve for me, like which I never knew. And these delegates are very, very creative. And they have a different, they know what they're doing, in short.
Right.
And they can make a movie out of nothing also, like a blockbuster film. So I was to think like how will they make a movie out of me who's a guy who's nothing? But I think the way they have written the script, I wish I could share it, but I'm not in a position to share. But when they told me about the script, about the movie, the start of the movie, how the movie is going to start, I became very emotional. There were like tears in my eyes, like, I couldn't stop it. And it was so real, and it never came to my brains that they could, because see, a third person, Nate, maybe you can see me better than I can see myself. So they have done a very fabulous work. I can say that I wish I could talk more on the things, but it is just wait, watch and witness, I think next couple of months. But I'm very happy that they're doing a good job. I just want to support them in everything that they're doing.
Well, what do you hope when we finally do get to see the movie, Harold? What do you hope the movie means to people, and what do you hope that people can get from your life story?
Yeah, I always told them, it's like when they told me that, Harold, that somebody will get in touch with you and they'll write the script. So I was a little nervous because it's like undressing myself in front of somebody whom I don't know. So it took me a lot of time, and then I have told them everything, which I have not even shared in my presentation so far. I'll be very honest, Nate and JK, that I might have not even shared 25% of my story in real life, But in the movie, I have shared everything. And only thing, I have requested them to be respectful of my family, my kids. So there are certain scenes I told that just don't be very blunt. That people should get the message. That's number one. People should get the message what happens in the life of a victim in labor trafficking and debt bondage on this planet, not only in the US, but on this planet, number one. Number two, I have told them that, and which they have done a fantastic job, that before the movie, I had signed the life right agreement. I had certain of my comments or my terms was that I said, I want you to give a positive spin in the end of the movie, that anyone who watches the movie comes out in a very positive way and believes in herself or himself that I can make it happen. And whether it could be a victim of labor trafficking, a victim of sex trafficking, a victim of any crime, maybe unemployment, health crisis, poverty, maybe you're a failure in education, that you can always turn obstacles into opportunities. Maybe taking my own example of my own life and of my own family, where I was at ground zero, and then how I flipped the script. So that is the overall thing, and I think they got the entire nutshell of what things are happening. So they're going into the details of certain areas of my life, which I think they know should be highlighted in the movie. Which I have. So they're doing a good job. So I just want to have a positive end. So I always tell that I was just reading an article, Nate and JK, just last week, that in my hometown, a 10th standard grade, student committed suicide. So it was very disturbing for me. Like when I read all this, it's very disturbing. Like, this life could have been saved. So I always tell, like, when people watch this movie, that suicide or silence is not a choice, option, or solution. I always tell, like, be happy, think positive, never quit, and believe in yourself. And I think people I've seen that whenever I have done presentations, I did about 53 presentations in India, Nate. So I presented at the US Embassy in Delhi, Kolkata, Bombay, Hyderabad. I presented in over, I don't know, close to 2 dozen universities. I visited about 17 cities. I did presentation at the Rotary Club, at faith-based organization with police commissioners, law enforcement agencies, with faith-based organizations, with bishops, archbishops, and even like spiritual leaders of different religion. So because I always feel that human trafficking or any problem is nothing to do with caste, color, religion, nationality. It's all about human beings.
Mm.
So we have got to respect human beings. So I really appreciate what Stop Now is doing. Like, stop, listen, and share. Those are three very powerful words. And I think we need to communicate this to our audience globally.
Yep.
So thank you.
You mentioned something about being positive. And one of the things that JK and I talked about a lot last year, Harold, is, optimism and pessimism and realism and dealing with the stuff that comes up in our lives, whether it's something like, being a victim of trafficking, or whether it's dealing with the pandemic, or, dealing with financial troubles, or any of the things that happen in life. How do you manage to stay positive? How did you manage to stay positive, Harold, going through the stuff you went through?
This is a $1 million question, Nate. I'm really happy that you asked me on this particular show of Stop Now. So positive thinking has not happened to me overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone through the natural phase of every human being who goes ups and down in life. So they always say in the medical field, if it's a straight line, means you are dead.
Mm.
So it's always better to go up and down. But see that when you're going up and down, your graph is going up, not down. So I have worked. I decided one day that I'll always think positive, be happy, and change my future. And it is like this, but it does not happen overnight to be thinking positive. So it's like running a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
You got to practice a lot. And then once you practice a lot, then you can run a marathon. Same way, thinking positive, I always think that when I get up in the morning, I always think of being happy, think positive, what good I can do in my life. And I want to give some classic examples. Like, this is 2022. So already on December 31st, I have made a resolution,
Mm-hmm.
for 2022, what I'm going to do. So in my first resolution, I said, be happy, treat my family good. And then the other things that I've written, dated and signed. And we do it as a family. Both my sons, Bradley, who's in California, my son, Rohan, my wife, we all make a resolutions for more than last 10 years or 15 years. And then we evaluated that. So basically, and then I do a lot of work with the victims. See, I'm fortunate that I got out of the situation. So when I work with victims and survivors in the US and globally, and when they get a green card or a permanent residency card and they call me, I can see their smile on their face. I can see the tears rolling down their cheeks and thanking me. So that is something like a priceless feeling, because I never do it for money. I never charge a single penny from any of the victims and survivors. So I always tell people, every problem has a solution. Fix the problem, not the blame. Whether it is pandemic, you lost your job, you have a broken relationship, try to work it out. And nothing will happen overnight. You have to give, always say, 5 years, 60 months to change your life. And that's what I did. I worked. It is now that I'm traveling, but when I was to work for Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Nate, I used to work every day, 16 hours a day. Because 8 hours I used to get overtime. So I did it happily because I wanted to flip. I wanted to empower my kids. So I did it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
This house which you see, I'm this thing, I bought it like in 2011, but that was my dream, but I worked for it. I struggled. So always I tell, a short-term pain is a long-term gain.
Mm-hmm.
But a short-term gain is a long-term pain. That's why I tell all the youngsters who are watching on the show, Stop Now, when you're in the school and college, enjoy your life, but don't lose focus. Focus, I learned from my older son, Bradley, follow one course until success. So I am a student of life. I learn every day. I learn everything from your show also. So thank you, JK.
Harold, just a quick question. you really scared me on that. I really don't know, like when you said you exposed your entire life to the screen writers and also for the movie that is being made. But then how did your family took that? Because still it's an ongoing thing, right? So your sons and your wife, they should have supported you immensely, right? Without their support, like I can't even imagine like how you are able to do this, being a family man and keep reliving on this. So what do you want to say to people who go through this? Like, how is your family is reacting for all that you do even right now?
JK and Ned, I just want to thank you for this slideshow which you put on, like stop human trafficking, stop modern day slavery now, and no one is for sale. And usually human beings are sold in this trade of human trafficking. And this is one of the sole purpose, JK, that, like you, I'm on this mission of empowering our vulnerable population worldwide to live a life with freedom and happiness. And coming down to your question, JK, I'll be very honest. I don't know whether I've shared this on any other platform because no one has asked me this very delicate and emotional question. Is that today, if I'm happy, I always tell behind every happy man, whether it's a man or a husband, it is the wife or the family who supports. This mission I could have never accomplished without the support of my wife, Dancy, my two sons, Bradley and Rohan. We did go through ups and downs when I started talking, JK, many years back. My son, especially my younger son, was very upset because I never knew that in the school you get bullied, you get talked about, you get bad mouth by your colleagues or your peers. So one day my son came to me, I think when he was in middle school, I think in the 7th grade, and he was very upset and he was controlling his feelings and sentiments. And one fine day he came up with a lot of courage and told me, Dad, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? So he was like totally perplexed. He's like, why are you doing this? What's wrong with you? Like he was like trying to tell me that. And then I realized that I never understood. I never realized that, oh my God, I have not even thought about my wife and my kids because they were not telling me anything. I was not taking their feedback. I never took their consent. And then when my son told me, Rohan, this, I was quite touched. Then I told him, do you know Wilson uncle? He's a good friend of mine who was a victim of labor trafficking here in Columbus. He's from Goa. And then I told, do you know Roshan uncle? He's from Nepal, And I gave some names of other Mexicans whom they knew very well as a child when we were in a trafficking situation. And I said, these all people helped me, JK, during my rough time because I had a family, whatever way. These people are even giving me like $20, $50, $100, which is big money for me. And I can never, ever forget till I take my last breath on this planet about all this. I should not say victims or survivors, but good friends of mine who helped me. Then I told my son, see, I'm not doing it for me. I'm trying to help this uncle and them to get freedom. And my son understood that, and you're so on the spot. I would not say convinced. He said, oh, okay, that's fine. So he gave the consent. And after that, they have been like supporting me. Now they're 100%, or in fact, they're more than 100% supporting my mission. My older son, Bradley, is working for Tesla. He's in California. My wife, she works for GECU, General Electric Credit Union. My son, Rohan, was working for Apple, but he quit his job. Now he's trying to do tennis full-time since last 1 year. And I was struggling to quit my job from Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I worked for 11 years. And I wanted to do this full-time. Eyes Open International, a non-profit organization, is registered under 501c3. But I didn't have the courage because I am a father. I got two sons. I'm a husband. I have to run the house. But my wife and my sons, they support. They know, Dad, you quit your job. We are there. We'll support you. Because this particular mission, what I'm on, JK and Nate, that, there is no fixed income, where I'll get a salary. And I'm not doing it for money.
Absolutely.
But whenever I get it, I accept it. But honestly, it is my wife. My only concern was the medical insurance. So her company where she's working has got a very good medical insurance at GECU. And my son, Bradley, who's in Tesla, he's doing very well too. In fact, I want to tell all my audience today on Stop Now that you should empower your kids. give them freedom. When I say freedom, is not only in freedom of speech, but freedom in action. You'll not believe, JK and Nate, that for the last 15 years, 1-5, Bradley is managing all our finances. Even when I was working for Cincinnati Children's Hospital, he was managing my salary. And today also is managing the salary of Dancy. Financially, Dancy and myself, we both are retired. If you're saying, he pays all the bills, being in California, being a Duke Energy, our cell phone bills, our house, our groceries, everything, he manages. And he has done a wonderful job. Because I always think that as a parent, I'm from India, old school, we always think within the box. But kids think outside the box. And it's not that my kids have not made mistakes, but I said, that's fine. Because by making small mistakes, if he's made a mistake of $100, I think he has saved $100,000 down the road. So today he's got great financial aptitude, both my sons. Because I have given them full freedom, including credit card, the checkbooks, everything is in their name. And last but not the least, I want to share with you, JK and Nate, I never shared that if God calls me right now when the show is going on at Stop Now, I'm not going to say, okay, let me finish the show at Stop Now and I'm ready to come. I would say, okay, I'm ready. Because I'm not going to tell that, give me 5 minutes, I have to sign some papers or checks, anything. As of now, you'll not believe everything, whatever I own or I have in assets, physical assets, anything, bank accounts, everything has been transferred in the name of my wife and my 2 sons. Not now, many years back. So I feel really relaxed. And that's again coming down to your point also, JK and Nate, how to think positive. So I believe in real, practical living a life that way. So today, if I'm living my life today like I'm already dead. So one day I'm going to die, and you would like to see how your kids are doing. So I'm watching my kids, how they're doing when I'm alive. So I don't take any decisions. I make them make the decisions. Like they'll keep me informed, but I don't. And that is how it really makes me feel more happy. When you see your kids happy, it brings more joy in you. Your output increases, your productivity increases. And that's how I can go and help victims and survivors and do something very different. I don't have to think how to pay my bills, or how to do this, how to do that. I am always thinking how I can save the life of a victim, how I can get him or her a freedom, how I can solve them a problem, how I'll ensure that he or she does not commit suicide. So I'm devoting most of my time there for the support of my family, JK, and the support that you all are also giving me. Stop Now. I really appreciate that and respect what you all are doing. Thank you.
Harold, you made us, like Nate, before I pass it on to you to run the show, Harold, you make me jealous, right? So everybody will say that, like, oh, this man is lucky, man, right? He has a wonderful son and wife. Again, I didn't meet her, but still, you keep me updated on that, like how wonderful she is and supporting you throughout. And the benefits of volunteering, I believe, like from the social media, we learned that like she has been commended for her volunteering hours, right? So why don't you talk about that? Because we are struggling as such, as you said, many people are, unless they fall victim or they are exposed to this, they don't care, right? They don't understand the benefits of volunteering, why we need to care for the other people. So with that thought, like by Martin Luther King, that is here, like injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, right? So we all are so connected. So how we are getting impacted, as you pointed it out, like the ups and downs. I wanted to play out that video with your permission, how emotional you got, and you were one of the favorite, like for us in the best of 2021. That's why like we wanted to start and welcome this 2022 with you. So again, it's been a wonderful journey and we will continue to do that. Thank you, Harold. Like Nate, it's your turn.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that you're talking about, Harold, is the importance of family. And I'll kind of broaden it out even more and talk about, the importance of community. And when you're dealing with big issues, whether it's, the homelessness issue or racism or human trafficking, I think one person can't do everything. It needs to be a group effort. It needs to be collaborative. It needs to be community. And so, when you're talking to victims, Harold, when you're, doing some of this great work, what's something you've learned about, teamwork and collaboration with people?
Yeah, I always believe, Nate and JK, is that teamwork makes the dream work. And that's the reason I collaborate with Stop Now and with various organizations, even with all the victims. I was just talking to one of the ladies, I can't give the name, in Virginia, just a couple of weeks back. She's from India. She's going through a very bad phase and struggling. So I always talk to them whenever any victims call me in at night, 2:00, I ensure that I spend some time with them. So basically is like what you should do it in your show, like stop, listen and share. So whenever a victim calls me, I just stop whatever I'm doing. And then I listen to them. And that itself is very therapeutic for that victim or the person who is on the next line on the phone talking to you. Just listen, don't do anything. And be compassionate, get into her emotions, feelings. And then I go to that level because I was there. I used to tell them my situation was worse than yours. I tell them, so you are in a better place. But I always encourage them, motivate them, and support them that since you have called me, no one on this planet will touch you. I assure them with full confidence. I said, if somebody, and if that is, I always ensure they're hoping that they're on the right track. And they're like, they need justice. And that really boosts up their morale. And today I want to give a small example, Nate and JK, is that I was working with a lady about almost a year back. She contacted me and she was going through a very severe situation. But anyway, I put her in the shelter home. She had 2 kids. But to cut the long story short, she's in a town, and she was going through this severe abuse for the last 10 years. Today she's happy. I just spoke to her yesterday. She's got a job, she's got a car, and 2 kids are happy. And yesterday was her birthday. So what I'm trying to share is that when I see them happy, that is what brings you joy. And that is what I think our Stop Now also is doing, So, but we at times watch it, but we don't register it. We got to register other people's pain. Like I go to India, I travel, right? I even travel in the Bombay, in the local trains. I just took time without anybody's knowledge. I just want to travel so I can feel the pain and pleasure also. There are so many people on the streets. We are so blessed that we get food to eat, but there are so many people who do not even get food to eat. So it's just like seeing them and helping them. But you can help one person at a time. And then once you start helping one person at a time, then delegates like Stop Now will come and join your hands. And then you can help more people. And people who are watching on this show, I want to encourage them, help your friends, families, or your neighbors. Or if you're walking in the streets, if you're having a burger from McDonald's, you got an extra thing, go and give to somebody who needs it. Share. Sharing is caring. You're not going to lose anything. You'll gain more. So it's all about like understanding somebody's feelings, emotions, and sentiments. So volunteering is always good because I think volunteering is a part of our family life. And I give full credit to my wife because she's the one got into this to get out of whatever situation we are going through. And today it's gone into our blood. So both my sons, we just volunteer. It's become a part of our family life. We don't feel that we are volunteering. It's just a routine.
Right. And I think that's a great point you bring up, Harold, because I think a lot of times, especially in America, people think about volunteering or people think about sharing or giving from Thanksgiving to New Year's Day. And that's it. And they don't do it again until, the holidays come up the next year. And it's not a seasonal thing. It's something that's year round. There are people that need help year round. There's people, like you said, that need somebody to hear them and listen to them. JK always talks about there's a lot of people out here that don't have a voice, that are trapped and caught up and don't have anybody to speak for them. So I think it's good that you're mentioning, like, you can help anybody, anytime. It doesn't have to be at Thanksgiving. It doesn't have to be at Christmas. You can help all year round.
Very true. And I always believe that charity begins from the house. I always believe. I was very, very clear from the day one is that if my wife and my 2 sons are not happy, whatever I'm doing, I do not want to be at the White House. I do not want a biopic film on me. I do not want to be in any talk show. So I'm very clear that your foundation has to be very strong in terms of value, character, education, and faith.
And I think one of the things I'm interested in, Harold, as we start this new year, and you just said you make resolutions for the new year. What are some things that you're looking forward to in 2022, whether it's with the biopic, or whether it's with the foundation or some of the other work that you do?
Yeah, I'm a, like you, you said it right. I had all this on my resolution about the biopic film, be happy. But then I have added something about more in my resolution is about Eyes Open International to collaborate and to open branches in different countries this year. So like in Ghana, and I have got different countries where I want to start in the year 2022. And most important is that I want to work with certain victims with whom I'm already working, and to ensure that I've taken it one step in my resolution to ensure that I get them freedom. When I say freedom means there are some delegates in the US and it's in very challenging situation for me, but I've taken it a personal oath that I'll ensure that they gain permanent residency card. When I say that freedom for me, it's not freedom for them, not for me, but how can I give them freedom? How can I get a smile on their face? Is that I can get them reunited with their family after 26 years. You know, there is one lady, she's not met her family for the last 26 years, and she has been a victim of domestic servitude, but she didn't get the right help at the right time, and she was misguided. So that's my resolution 2022, to ensure that I get her reunited with her family, and the law enforcement agency is helping me. It's not me again, it's a teamwork. Okay, so the law enforcement agency at the Ohio, at the governor's task force, Mike Devine's office, the Dave Host, who is the Attorney General, the Ohio task force team, their law enforcement agencies, the attorneys, they are helping me or this lady in getting her a status and getting her united. So we are generally working on that. But I want to ensure that this thing materializes in this year. And there are some other delegates from Mexico. There's one delegate from Pakistan. And these are all some very genuine cases. It's not that, you know, like oh no, they don't deserve. But they have been stuck here for 2 decades. And that's very horrific. You know, like Nate, you're blessed. You're in the US. I'm blessed. I'm in the US. JK is there. He's blessed today. We can eat. We can go out. You know, so we have that freedom. But these delegates do not have that freedom, and it is, I don't know how to share. You know, because I've been in that situation. I know how it feels. You know, like just to give a small example, is that my father-in-law died. You know, in September of 2006, and my wife was the only daughter, but she could not go for the funeral. So, you know, people just see the positive side, which is good. I'm not saying that, but every survivor has the other side negative, which they don't share.
Right.
And that's not the right platform to share also. Like, you know, they also go through emotional traumas. And there are a lot of such situations that has transpired in my life also. Right. But then can I fix? That's what I always tell, you know, I'm a common man, I'm a failure, and I'm a sinner. I really mean it. But I do not want these things to happen to any other victim or survivor. You know, so, and I'm really happy that I think that you are doing a good job, Nate. Like, see, you're not a victim of any crime, including JK. But when you get on this platform, it really makes me much more emotional. That it really touches my heart, because that you have some humanity. You know, that humanity is very important. You have to be. You're very humble. You're very honest. And you're a good human beings, and that is what the victim survivors need.
Sorry, I wanted to interrupt on that, like, because I really don't see myself in that valuable credit that is given. Right, so we definitely we understand that, like what you are saying, but I wanted to play with the emotions. We are doing some experiment here, and also, right, we wanted to engage with you on that. We are trying to do that, and to reveal that, right? So to trigger your emotion and your passion, I don't know how to do that. Like the last time I wanted to play that video, and maybe I'll ask you this question. So in your family, right, between you and your wife, why did you choose to be the face of it rather than your wife, right? Because if it's a woman who's coming out and saying these things, it would have much more impact, right? In that way, maybe I'm wrong, but as you said, me and Nate, like we don't have that suffering or the experience, but we feel the pain. Exactly. That's one of the reasons we wanted to support, and we wanted to listen, and we wanted to share to the entire world and do that. With your permission, this was my favorite moment, and I chose this as a best of 2021, and how you got emotional by someone in the audience who triggered us all.
And I think like what goal I want to answer your question is that number one right now, what Stop Now is doing. What is the solution? Number one, what Stop Now is doing on this podcast with Savita, JKU, and Dr. Gopal is creating awareness. And so that in educating people and empowering people so that they do not become a victim of labor trafficking or sex trafficking. Number two, here today, not only in the United States of America, but globally, out of 10, 9 do not get prosecuted. Many times the victim gets prosecuted. So I always tell, even when I was working in the White House, is that when you save one victim, you save one survivor. But when you prosecute one perpetrator, you save 100 victims. And this is what we all have to be informed. And what Dr. Gopal said was a very good example. Like when you're selling drugs, it's only one-time deal, and then he keeps on like does not become a victim again, but he keeps on reusing it. But in the case of labor trafficking or debt bondage, he or she gets abused. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year. So you have to be trauma informed. I always tell, giving names is very easy. But what is that going to do? Do we have the law in place? Can they go and prosecute them? What will happen? The victim will get prosecuted. The victim is gone, vanished, and nobody bothers because everybody is busy with their life. Who has got time to spend time with the victim or a survivor? No one. It's very easy to say on this particular platform, yes, we care for you. But like Dr. Gopal said, are we compensating the survivors in real life? Are we empowering them with a good job, even if they're talented? No. Because once they get stigmatized as a survivor, they just, okay, no, you just work in a McDonald's. You are not talented. You are not fit for a job. Because nobody sees that he or she has a talent, has a wisdom, has a passion, and has a dream. Why can't every person born on this planet has a dream? How can we stigmatize or judge? Oh no, he is a victim of sex trafficking or labor trafficking. That's it, period. He cannot become the CEO of a company. He cannot start a non-profit organization. He cannot get a good job. He cannot buy his own house. He cannot live a good life. And that's why they get re-victimized. I got victimized. And that's why I'm raising voice. And it's very easy to say and share. Oh, why don't you give the name? Come on. Will you take the challenge or guts to protect me or anybody? Do you have the guts to do it? Do it and show it to me. Has your child been abused? Have you been shot? Have they sexually abused your wife? And then I want to see you stand up and talk. Yes, I have the courage. I can give the names. Can you prosecute my perpetrator right now? I'll tell you after the show. I'll do whatever you want. Do you have the guts? It's very easy to pinpoint or abuse a survivor. But come up with solutions. Because you all are sitting on the shore or on the ship with no problems. But once you face a problem that Dr. Gopal said, because she is working with the victims, understand the victim's problem. It's very easy to pinpoint or abuse or say some easy words. But that's not right.
Mm. So, Harold, how do you do this? Like, you are a great actor or what? Like, so that kind of emotion you brought in, like, I was shocked. The entire episode, I kept watching again and again. Even the host, like Cole and again, Nate missed that time, but then still, we all were stunned at the time. We understood that, like, one gentleman, like, he just provoked you and he just disturbed us like so much and he left.
No, I'm watching this now. I never watch my shows, JK, but I really apologize. It's just natural within me. And it's a fact. See, it's not about me now. I'm out of the situation, but I see a lot of victims suffering, JK and Nate. Mm-hmm. And when I see anybody suffering, it really bothers me. And I feel that why people are doing this to a person who is very innocent, who is helpless, just because he does not have any documentation, just because he does not have any paper. So will you abuse him or her? That's not human. Will you do that to your own wife or daughter or your son? Your family members could be in a similar situation in some other country. Just because you're not in that situation, and that is what I'm trying to do this. And I'll be very honest. During my trafficking situations, JK and Nate, my colleagues, my friends who were victims, they supported me so much. I cannot ever forget in my life. And today I'm trying to be the voice for the voiceless. And like you rightly said, JK, I never ever wanted to share my story. Had you even given me $10 million, I would say no. Because it was a shame, it was a stigma for me. I'm from India. But honestly, there are a lot of couple of things that happened in my life. I saw two victims whom I worked here. One person died in Texas. Because actually most of the victims of liver trafficking, they move from one state to another. And he died while he was working at a gas station. I don't know the name and all. And they called me from there. And I was just listening. He was crying like a child on the phone. And what did I do? Nothing. I myself was helpless at that situation. But that person who died, he had two kids, 2 years and 4 years old. What did I do? Did I support them? Could I do anything? Could I guide him? Could I send his body back to his country? And those things triggered me in my life. And it was like God's call telling me, Harold, you are educated, that you need to do something. And that is how I decided to be the voice, courage, hope, and freedom. In fact, I never wanted my story to go outside these four walls. Not once, 100 times. The FBI agent came with a TV news channel at my house. They were in the parking lot and I kicked them out. I should not use the word kick them out. I was just like I just said, no, nothing doing. I don't want to be in the press. I don't want to be on the TV news channel. They were telling me, Harold, no, your story should be out. I said, no. And when my news came first time on Fox 19, I didn't sleep the whole night. It was featuring and I was talking to the anchor, he was very nice. And I said, I just didn't know what to do, but I didn't speak. They just showed my photo because I could not speak. So my wife spoke and they wanted me to speak, but I didn't speak because I didn't have the courage or I just didn't know how to act. And full night, I saw the news. It was featuring the entire day, the hotline, and at night they played it and I almost cried. And I didn't sleep the whole night because next day morning I had to clock in at 7 o'clock at my work and I thought that I'll be fired. And can you imagine, because I had the Indian mentality, but when I went to work, all the doctors, the nurses came and hugged me. And they say, Harold, we didn't know your journey.
Thank you for that, Harold. And also for, I think, what JK said earlier, just kind of the emotion around it, because I do feel like that you need to have that passion for the victims and for the survivors. And, there's so many stories that aren't heard. And that's part of what we're trying to do here with Stop Now, and part of what you're doing in terms of getting these stories out, letting these stories be known, letting these voices be heard. And so I think, like, one of my last questions for you, Harold, is in terms of if somebody's watching and they've got a family member, a friend, somebody that's stuck in a situation like that, Harold, what can they do? Like, how can they help?
I always tell, like what you said, what your Stop Now does, stop, listen, and share. So call me. Like one delegate from India, JK and Nate, just called me a couple of weeks back. And he's a barber in India. His brother came to Cameroon as a barber, but became a victim of labor trafficking and debt bondage. And they put him in that quarry or in that mining. And they're not just feeding him once a day, and they're not paid him for the last 6 months. So I'm trying to get him out from there. So I already contacted some delegates at Washington, DC. So what I'm going to share is that, always call like 1-888-373-7888. That's the National Human Trafficking Hotline number in the United States of America. Or contact Stop Now on your website. If there are any issues, contact Eyes Open International. So you always got to ask for resources. You always got to fight. You always got to raise your voice. Just keeping quiet is not the solution. Like I grew up in Gujarat, in India. There's a proverb there, Nate and JK, that agar bachcha bhi nahi rota hai, to maa usko doodh nahi pilati. That when a child is born and if the child does not cry, the mother also does not breastfeed her or the child. So the moral of the story is that if you are in a problem, you need to make a noise to the right people, not just to anybody else, to the right delegates. Call the hotline number.
Really quick, Harold, like to piggyback on that, it's like a saying my grandmother used to always tell me, a closed mouth never gets fed. If you don't let somebody know, you can't get help.
Right. And we would not know also.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm giving my own situation. I created a havoc. Like I went to people said that I'll get deported, I'll get jailed, I'll be arrested. I had only one thing, that I'm honest. If I have to get jailed, no problem. I really turned all stones, and I really fought. And eventually, you'll get success. Failure is the path to success. I always believe that. So there's no success. Like whatever you're doing, Nate, whatever JK is doing on Stop Now, you think you all didn't face obstacles? When you all did the show, I don't know, you might have faced a lot of challenges and obstacles, but you all never quit. You all kept on doing it. So obstacles will always come in life. Like there is pandemic. Yeah. So what? Come on. Certain things you got to respect the law. Wear your mask. Keep your hands sanitized. But like, see what we are doing today. We're doing a virtual call.
There's the mask.
You said it, Harold. Like, so I'm back with my mask. So just to...
I like that.
So you rightly pointed it out, right? So we have been making noise, and you have to get the right attention, right, to make the noise in the right way, in the right direction. And as you said, Harold, like we are proud. We never believed, like from the beginning, right? What we are doing is like, obviously these are bigger than our own. It's a way bigger problem of human trafficking that nothing is going to stop overnight. And we kept doing it without any returns, without any expectations. And we were recognized by Google, and they have provided us grants for advertising and promoting it. That was itself is a great achievement for us. And we wanted to share that like with other nonprofits. And we are trying to partner with you. Our mission next is like to help you, your organization, to get that status. And many organizations, many businesses have that, but they do charge, and we are trying to help everyone free of charge to get what we have achieved in a short span of time. And of course, as you said, like we did had some challenges, but with regard to volunteers and freelancers, everybody is losing their hope or interest, I would say, like, except for Nate. I keep saying that, like, Nate is a last man standing, always like being a broadcaster. He is saying like, no matter what, I will give my time at least 1 hour or 2 hours in a week. That's not a big thing. And he's standing with us. And others, like, obviously they have their own career, like your movie career, Melissa, she was a favorite, like she also left for a movie career. So that those things are happening. Again, it's a fresh start. And as you said, like we have a long road to journey together, and we really enjoyed. And also we are offering you a job as well, Harold, if you're interested to participate in our experiment lab. I forgot saying that. That's why I brought this mask up. Nate got placed. Nate, this is a surprise for you. Few others like who volunteered. Harold, to give a context, we are conducting an experiment with fake profile and so many other companies, fake companies registered in US, which is being operated from India. Hundreds and thousands of recruiters who are victims of this kind of trafficking, they are still doing this, and we are trapping them with our experiment. So we created fake profile, and which Nate volunteered. Even Cole did that, and Savita did that, and I myself did that. And I got placed. I got $100,000 job, and even Shiva worked for that company to see that like if we are getting paid for 2 months. And also now the recent news is Nate got selected, but he has to get the offer. Yeah, I don't know if Nate is going to do that. So the same offer is there on the table for you, Harold, because you are a US citizen. It's much easier. We can get you a job. Like you name the price, like we'll get you a job in a billion-dollar multinational companies, even in Apple, and as a project manager or whatever you want to. So that is possible. It is a surprise thing.
But will I get paid?
Yes, that's the challenge, right? We wanted like to make that happen. And the surprise thing is like we got paid. we got paid for $10,000. And tell your son, Tesla, right?
Yes.
We got an anonymous donation last year, Model S Tesla car to our foundation. We are proud so we are proud to bring that, and we are going to show that, and we are going to auction that car, fundraise, and donate it to the victims for the cause that we are fighting out. So these are the things that we are trying to do.
Yes, I guess my last thing, Harold, is I always thank you for joining us. We always like when you have time to come and talk to us and talk to the audience. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the audience? And if anybody out there wants more information about Eyes Open, where can they go to get more information about you and your story and what you're doing to help survivors?
Yeah, I'd just like to tell all the audience on Stop Now is that, live your life to the fullest. Everything is possible. People may tell you impossible. And I always tell that, I am possible. So if you want to get in touch with Eyes Open International, please go through our website. That's www.eyesopeninternational.org. And you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Stop Now. And again, I'm telling that, teamwork makes the dream work. And I just would like to end with a note of Mother Teresa. That's, do not waste time judging people. Just love them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harold, for joining us as always. JK, thank you so much, my friend. I will see you next week. Everybody out there, be safe. Happy New Year. And we'll do it again next week, guys.
Thank you again, Harold. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.